everybody, and today is December the 14th and we're going to start taking a look at this machine, Tron, which I announced on the Facebook page a couple of weeks ago that had arrived. This machine is stood in the middle of the floor pretty much as was delivered. It was sort of over there in the corner, over that side, and I've dragged it out in the middle of the floor so I can walk around it a little bit with the camera and things like that, and we're going to take a look at it together. I don't know how far we're going to get in this video. We're going to take a close look at it, hopefully get as far as powering it up, maybe test the monitor. There's definitely no chance of me powering the game board up today. That is definitely going to be in a separate video. I do not trust the power boards that come with these midway cabs after 30 odd years, so unless I did a full rebuild of the power supply board and everything, which I don't intend to do, then it would just take me, it would be suicide potentially to put untrusted power components into this machine and potentially do some damage to it. We'll go through the process together. We'll start by having a look over the cab. We'll look at what components are in the back of it. This is a MCR2 based game. This is one of Midway's later incarnations. Gorf over there, it's not really, that was their commercial card rack system, which I think they went, oh god, this is just terrible and it just breaks too easily and it burns out chips and so on, so I think they gave up with that one and they moved on to MCR2. I'm assuming with it being an MCR2 there must be an MCR1 system as well. I don't know too much about that. Anyway, so in the base here, wrapped up in some bubble wrap, are some power boards that should go with this machine. Now it was sold to us as not working, so we're going to assume that that's exactly the state. We don't know what the non-working state of, I keep saying unworking, can't say that. I don't know what the non-working state of the machine is. The marquee at the moment is missing, but it's in transit to us. It was just not delivered with the machine, but it is coming. So down here we have a number of components. I mean, the artwork looks in reasonable condition, but over time I shall probably get the kit from the US and redo the artwork and everything. The good news is though, with buying any game, it was complete. That's the story behind it. It was complete. Now, this isn't the Midway version of the cab, although it looks exactly like the Midway version. This one is actually the Zaccaria version, which is kind of why I went hammer and tooth to get it a little bit. So let's take a look over it. Let's take a look over it, see what we can find, see what's got on the machine, see what needs doing. Hopefully we'll get as far as powering it up. Maybe if I've got some in stock, put some strip lights in it, test the tube down there, the UV tube one, see how it glows the flight stick up, because the flight stick should glow, and see what the spinner and everything's like. So let's start taking a little look around, shall we? So up here, yeah, the marquee, obviously the marquee glass is missing and the strip light is missing, but everything else seems to be intact for it. I can't really show you behind it unless I get a screwdriver and take it out, but sort of just feeling around the power belt, the what do you call it? Oh, sorry, I'm on a monopod at the moment. I'm trying out a new monopod on the advice of Anthony Graham, our camera friend, and it's just falling all over the place, so I think I'm going to probably scrap that in a minute and throw it off. Sorry, so the strip light is intact, and behind it I can definitely feel the starter is in there for it. So somebody's just, this looks like a cab that somebody has just raped for parts over a period of time basically, and I'm glad that they only raped a few little pieces from it. So that's all there. The two speakers are in and also look like they are wired up. There's a couple of inches worth of dust that's going to get cleaned out from up here. We'll get the hoover out and sort all those problems out. Let's move down. The metalwork, a little tiny bit on the rusty side, no problems there. We can soon sand that back and give it a new spray up. Looks like the top retainer, there's no retainer up here for the marquee, so it looks like we're going to have to get a bracket made or something like that to slip over that, because it would sit into this runner here, and then there would be another one that would go over the top of it, I think, and then it would hold the marquee in place. That's as much as I can kind of guess on that. Haven't seen it in the back of it. We'll assume it's missing and we're probably going to have to find one. If not, hopefully it's with the marquee. Anyway, right, so let's move down a little bit. Now, so at the back there, you've got the back artwork. Now, that looks in reasonably good condition. So let's pan across there a little bit and show everybody. So it wants a good clean up. We'll put the tripod out, we'll get some solutions out, we'll see if we can strip the thing down actually and get certain bits of it out. Anyway, the monitor surround, which I think that is actually part of, if I just feel in there. Yeah, it could be actually, because this whole lot here, which is unscrewed at the moment, comes out in one piece. So the monitor surround itself actually isn't in bad condition. A little dusty and everything, no problem there. We'll give it a wipe down. There's some chinks in the artwork. So for example, here, that was as came. You know, for playing at home, I'm not that bothered about it. I can absolutely guarantee if I took this out to an event, somebody would spot that and pull at it, because we've seen that happen a few times to us now, where people sort of vandalise bits of slightly frayed artwork, T-moulding also. You wouldn't believe how many people you sort of see at these events and they're picking at stuff there, and you know, unfortunately that's part and parcel of doing what we do. But all you can do is try and electrocute the side of the cab so that people get a nice 40,000 volt shock if they start peeling away at things. Oh, sorry, did I say that? No. Anyway. So here's that's the monitor surround, which is all plastics with artwork attached to it. Okay, and then we've got the monitor, which looking at it is pretty burn free for a Tron. Normally you can see, if you know the game, there's the I can't remember what the level's called, but it's the bit where you are stood here and you're throwing the shots up and the disc is spinning around. It looks a bit like one of those Rubik's cylindrical things that we used to have back in the 80s. But that bit where you then go up to the top, where it's got the triangle at the top and everything, the coloured bits, that's usually burnt well and truly into the screen front. So either this is a reasonably new monitor that's been put into it, or it's just the way that that those particular ones, because normally there's a G07 or a Wells Gardner 4600 series in a Tron. If it was a US version, this being a European one, they usually put Hunter-X monitors in it, and this one's got an MTC 900, which we'll show you in a sec. Alright, so moving down, this is the UV part of it. Now, it looks like somebody hasn't actually raked it for parts there. It's still got its UV tubing, so I'll be really pleased if that powers up in a minute. There's the joystick. Joystick's looking pretty good. Pretty well intact as well. 2 buttons and a spinner. And the spinner's not grinding, which is another common thing with spinners that we find. They start to grind after a while. Because what happens is, as you're playing them, what they do is, instead of people just spinning them like that and turning them, what they tend to do is pull on them towards them and spin them. Yeah, there's a lot of, we've seen a lot of that as well. Joystick feels like it's intact, and it's supposed to be a 4-way stick, this. And it's definitely sliding into its diagonal points. So on a joystick like this, on a 4-way stick, basically, you don't sort of come back to the middle and then come down. It's not like a gear, like a gear shifter. What happens is they put a restrictor plate that's in a diamond sort of pattern, so it slides across the corner without making contact of the diagonals. So it goes like that. Yeah, that feels actually like it's fairly well in shape, that. Control panel artwork, pretty good. Pretty good, actually. A few scuffs and things like that, nothing too bad. Considering, like I say, considering the idea of redoing the artwork on it anyway over time. Lower plastic. This is usually been elbowed or something like that, so it's actually doing okay. Let's have a look. What else have we got? So coin door's in pretty good shape. So there's something on my viewfinder that looks like there's a problem with the camera lens. Just give me a second. Yeah, there we go. Thought there's something wrong with the LCD on the camera. Yeah, so the lower plastic, that's usually been cracked or something like that, because these are such heavy cabs, people have to take them on a truck from the front, and depending on how your truck rests on here, your sack truck, sometimes it'll press against this and it'll bust it out. That's happened to a few Golf cabs I've seen. Here's the coin door. Coin door's in pretty good shape as well. I'm not going to go to the extremes of stripping and spraying coin doors, but what I will do is dismantle things like the metalwork here that's a little bit on the rusty side, and I'll give that a good clean up before putting it back together. But the coin door itself, I'm just going to give it a clean with some liquids and things like that. It's got a key, it's got a lock in it, but the lock's been dismantled, and I'm surprised actually, it's not actually completely engaged. So that's the back of the coin door. We'll put lamps into it and things like that. It's got the lamp holders, which is a good thing. Yeah, it's got the lamp holders in there. Some notices which we'll read, things like that. Instructions on how to manipulate the coin door, but no switches. So it's had its mechanisms. Removed by the look of it, or part removed. Yeah, something definitely missing from the coin mix there. Right, okay. And there was no lower coin, the coin bucket drawer. Let's pull those out. So there's no coin bucket door and coin buckets in it when supplied. Not sure where they are. I'll have a good look around inside, you never know, they could be sort of floating. That's happened before. Right, let's have a look at side art. So the side art on this isn't actually a sticker. This is bonded to the cabinet. It's not artwork that's a sticker, and so we've got something that's sort of stuck to it there, like a price ticket or something like that, but it's looking like it'll peel off okay. Pan this light down a little bit, reduce it. So yeah, it's not a sticker. If you were to put your finger on that, you'd see that it's a bonding process. It actually feels like it's slightly raised and then there's nothing in it. It goes back to normal, or it's either that or it's a full side art piece. But there's definitely texture to this, and it's in great shape. There's a little there's the standard arcade scuff here that you see a lot of. Yeah, there's definitely a gouge there. Nothing you can really do about that apart from reapply the artwork, unfortunately. But other than that side, right hand side of it's in really good shape. Let's go around the other side. Can't really go too far. Okay, so let's have a look up here. So yeah, great along there and down. Yeah, if I shined a black light at that, I bet that'd really pop out. No major scuffs. Oh, a little tiny one there on this left hand side of it. All right. So shall we go and have a look around the back? Yeah, let's go have a look around the back. So here at the back, that's where the light that would light up the back glass area behind the monitor is sitting. Behind that we have the monitor, and its monitor and chassis are intact. Don't know if it's going to power up, but we'll find out. And there's not really a lot to show at the back of these things. There's the monitor, MTC 900 series, and there's the game board, which is also complete, thankfully. And there is a Zaccaria power supply. So normally, in the bottom of one of these machines, if it was a midway one, the power brick, that kind of power brick, would be in the very, very base, and it would look more like a suitcase kind of thing. I think if anybody's seen John's Arcades videos, it's on his Journey cab, that's a pretty good example of it. Anyway, so let's have a quick look at this piece of information here. We have a serial number sticker. So this says it runs off AC 245 volts, no problem. Let's see, is it serial numbered? Oh, serial number's been gouged. Oh no. Serial number. There we go. V/139.211. Everybody knows what that means. Somebody give me a clue. V139, so yeah, uses about 150 watts. That's its maximum load rating, by the way. That will be also based on inrush current. So when you first power the cab up, and there's a ton of capacitors on the monitor and in the fluorescent tubes, and in the and then those two big capacitors down there, when they all charge up, it'll draw about 150 watt for just a few milliseconds. Basically, that's it. And then it will go into a lower power mode, which will drop to about 105, 110. So if you ever have to calculate the power usage of a machine, that's the 150 is not a bad one to go off, but it's not what it will use on a continuous basis. It's not continuous load voltage, that usually. There's also, dual sound amp is also present. So these have an external sound amp rather than it being on the board. I think that sort of setup was a lot better. Pretty much all game boards have an amplifier on the board itself, and it can make it tricky to deal with. It also means you've got a lot of repetitive parts, and to be honest, I actually think that system's better. So you have the volume for the game, and it outputs the volume up to the sound amp board, and the sound amp board then amplifies the speakers. It also makes tracking down sound faults a heck of a lot easier, because you can do a lot of stuff on the bench. that board I will give a complete overhaul to, so you know, I'll recap the thing, possibly even re-chip it, but I can build a separate test loom, and that's one of the things. That's one of the videos we'll do. I'll do a little separate test loom and get the thing going. All right. There's not a lot else that I can show in here, so what we're going to do now is I am going to disconnect a few cables from in the back of this, and I'm going to have a poke around and see what's going on. I think we'll call that enough for video 1 of this, and we'll come back. Yeah, I think we'll say that's just the walk around of it and what's in the machine. So yeah, that's going to be enough for this first video. The next video, what I'm going to do is probably give it a little bit of a strip down, possibly, yeah, definitely a little strip down, clean up and check the wiring inside it, and then we'll go on to see if we can power it up and get the lights working. At the very least, might even test the monitor. Alright, so till the next video, don't forget, if you aren't subscribed to the channel, please click the subscribe button somewhere up in the top right hand corner, and that's either whether that works whether you're on the iPad, or whether you're on a tablet, or whether you're on the web using YouTube. It's still up in the top right hand corner because it's a nice consistent interface that somebody designed. Also, don't forget to check us out on Twitter as well, at RGPUK. And if you're in the Northwest, come and see us every Saturday night at Arcade Club in Haslington. Alright, till the next video, see ya.